Tuesday! It's Chrissy here from the Creative Eclectic, and it's time for another Tuesday technique, or is it Tuesday tip? I've got both of those in this video today. Today we're doing something completely different, and it's an experiment, so bear with me. I was on a Facebook group over the last couple of days, and the Facebook group is called The Joy of Sets, spelled S-E-T-S, not like the book, but yeah, like a stamp set. And anyway, a UK demonstrator by the name of Jane Allmark, she set us a challenge to create an artist trading coin and swap it with her. So you might be asking what an artist trading coin is. I know I was. I'd never heard of them before. So they're these little coins that are made with a 2.5 inch circle, and they are decorated and they're sent all around the world. So I'm sending what I create today, maybe, to Jane, and hopefully she likes them. Now, you may have heard of artist trading cards, and artist trading cards are a little card of a certain size that artists decorate, and they could be paper craft artists, painters, mixed media artists, all sorts of artists decorate these cards, and they have their details on the back, and they send them all around the world. So the details that you have to have on the back, I've actually printed mine out already, and so you have to have your name, you have to say it's an artist trading coin, you give it a title, put the date and the number, one of however many. And of course, if you're using Stampin' Up, you've got to say that the copyright. Now, I printed these labels in an Avery label maker program, so they were really easy to do the fancy curved bits and all of that. I only have a black and white laser printer, so I couldn't print out my logo in colour, but that's all right. So I will punch these out and stick these on the back of my trading cards. Now, the only rules are for an artist trading coin is that it has to be a 2.5 inch circle. And sadly, Stampin' Up no longer carries a 2.5 inch circle punch, but they do carry dies that are approximately 2.5 inches. Okay, so what you'll need is some thick Whisper White or Very Vanilla cardstock. You're actually going to need 2 layers of it. I've cut mine so it's 3 inches wide, or around about 3 inches wide. This one's probably not. Don't even know what size that is, but it doesn't matter. And I'm going to make 3 of them at a time. 3 at a time. I've actually cut out a little template of my circle, so I could probably I'll probably be able to get 4 out of the A4, a 3-inch strip of A4 cardstock. Oh goodness, I'm having trouble with words today. So the first thing we're going to do is create our background. Now, this is the technique part of our little project. And a big shout out to my sister, Debbie McLean, who's a Stampin' Up demonstrator at Lakewood in Queensland, Australia. She shared this technique with my upline and our team at a recent event, And so I'm going to share it with you. And now it's a sponging technique with a bit of a difference. Okay, so I've got some Bermuda Bay cardstock. I haven't even put labels on that yet. I've got my smallest block. And I don't know, I wasn't actually at the team day, so I don't know how Deb did it, but this is how I'm doing it. It's a similar concept. So I'm just going to ink up my smallest block. And I've got some household glycerin. Now, sometimes when you ink with your little sponge dauber, you get little marks like that. Okay? So this is where the glycerin comes in. So I'm just going to take a little drop in my trusty little craft dropper and put it on to my block. Okay, I only need one drop. Make sure you put the lid on really tight and mix that with our ink. Now when I'm sponging, I sponge from off the page anyway, but when you sponge using the glycerin, you don't get as many dotty bits. My sponge is a bit dying. I have dedicated sponges for different colours. So how about I get a new sponge for the Bermuda Bay. Now remember the sponges, sponge daubers are in the catalogue. Okay. Oh, that's much better. It doesn't leave that deteriorating sponge all over it. So it's much easier to blend. Now, you can put I might put a little bit more glycerin. So as I said, we're experimenting today. A big thank you to Deb for sharing this with people. Okay, just put some random bits of Bermuda Bay. You'll see why I'm doing a very arty background today. So this is all about background stamping, sponging. So I'm creating my own background. Now you wouldn't use this technique on a scrapbook. And the reason you wouldn't use the technique on a scrapbook is that glycerin is basically a very weak acid. So if you were to use an acid on your scrapbook pages, it may deteriorate your acid-free scrapbook, and so may impact on your photos. So I've got new ink pads today, so I'm pretty excited. I've finally got all of the new style ink pads for the Brights collection. So I've got my little block. I'm just going to clean it off using my stamping chamois. Now I store my chamois. This is one I've cut in half, and I use this mainly for my stamper artists. So and I store it in a plastic bag, but I do let them dry out. And the reason I let my chamois dry out is because in Queensland it's hot and humid, and so I'm just a bit worried that if I keep it damp all the time when I'm not using it, it might get a bit mouldy. So I'm just going to grab my next sponge, and we've got Pacific Point, and I store my sponges in a little sponge store in a little case. So I've got one for, at least one for every colour, and this is my brights and neutrals case. It's a bit grotty. I did have a picture on it, but so again, I've wiped this off. I'm going to ink up my block. Going to add some glycerin. Let me just put a bit in the tube. Ooh. Okay, 2 drops in. Now my craft space is a real mess today because I'm working on a few projects all at once, prepping for coffee, cake and cards tomorrow, working on an online class which I'm really excited about, and you may have seen sneak peeks of that class if you follow me on Instagram. So we've mixed up our Pacific Point. Now I will wash these sponges after this because I don't want glycerin residue on something that I might use on a scrap page. So, yeah. And also because I'm possibly mixing colours together. Yeah, just doing random colours here because I want each of my artist trading coins to have a bit of each colour. It's very vibrant. I'm not sure if I'm doing this the right way. I'm sure if Deb was on watching, she'd tell me. Alright. Now this is just going to be a really fun project. So it's going to have lots of colour, definitely no rhyme or reason about the background. So we've got some blues, we've got some, so now we're going to add some melon mambo. Now remember, when you're opening these new ink pads, you press on the spine and then they flip open much easier than the old style. Got a little bit of that blue left. I'll just put some over here as well. And you can come back and add other colours later on. And make sure you've got some scratch paper or grid paper or something down so that you don't what's the word, get stuff all over your table. Done that before. I'll have to take a photo of my table and include it at the end of this video because my husband says to me, I don't know how you can work under these conditions. Sometimes I wonder too. Okay, next colour is a bit of pink. And I think I'm going to have to use a new sponge. Oh no, I'll try this old one. So I've had my sponges for a long, long time. Like some of them I've had for 10 years. So no doubt they deteriorate. Some of them I've had longer than I've been a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. So there you go. Yeah. Let's just see if that's going to deteriorate. See how when I've inked that there, because it's an old one, it's quite textured and we don't want that texture. I've still got some glycerin left in my mix it up. Now I wouldn't, if you don't have enough ink on your block, make sure you wipe it off before you try and put more ink on, because you don't want the glycerin on your ink pad, because it might do awful things to it. Okay, got my Mango Melody. Here we go. Let's give this a try. Oh, it's so much more vibrant. And so when you mix the Mango Melody, when you blend it with a bit of the pink, it makes a little bit of orange. When you blend it with the Bermuda Bay and the Pacific Point, you're going to get some green. So that's right. It's almost like a granny apple green, isn't it? Now, I'm just going to go back and grab some more of the what's that colour? Bermuda Bay, because I think that it just needs to darken that up a bit. Went a bit berserk with that glycerin there. Oh well, we'll see how it goes. Okay, so we've got all these different colours. So the next step that we need to do is we're going to stamp. So because this is a bit we just want this to be a single layer. We don't want it to be lots of textures, and we've got lots of bright colours. So I've got some Memento ink, and as I said, it's because it's for a demonstrator in the UK. We're using the It Starts With Art stamp set. Now this comes in a bundle, and it's one of the cling stamp sets, so this is what it looks like. So we're just being a bit quirky. So haven't even used this set yet. Great. Now, do you have stamp sets that you haven't used? I'm sure you do. You have to be honest. All right. So memento ink. So we've got the. Going to start with the my little mask. I'm just going to check where that's going to go. Now, some people get a pencil and draw where their little mask is going to go. I'm not going to do that. And I think that this would look pretty good, and I know my image is going to be cut off, but I think that this is going to be pretty good there. So when we punch it out, I can make sure that I'm going to put some words down here, and I'm going to make sure that I've got that punched out there. So there's lots of little bits of the cardstock that you're not going to, that you might waste, like you'll waste a bit in between, but you can always use them on another project. So let's have some words. You know, let's continue stamping. I'm going to use this one again, but I'm going to put it there because I only want the heart in it. So when I punch that one, I'll just have the heart. So it's a matter of turning them around and playing with them, and I'm actually going to go off camera for a little while, finish this stamping, and then I'll be back. Okay, so now we've got the project and it's all the backgrounds all stamped, and I've actually embossed some stuff. I dropped the stamp here, so I had to fix it. So I'm just going to grab my 2.5 inch punch, and as I said, Stampin' Up doesn't make this anymore, but they do make a die that is around about the same size. Now, very careful, because I've done that a double layer over here. I'm just got to be careful I don't break my punch. Alright, it's stuck. So, the thing I need to tell you about is the glycerin. So you need to make sure, if you're going to heat emboss on it, you need to make sure that glycerin is really, ink is really dry. Because I thought it was dry, it felt dry to touch. So I used my embossing buddy, stamped in my Versamark. Then when I poured the embossing powder on, it stuck everywhere. So I decided, because I couldn't scrape it off, to make it a bit of a feature on my card, or on my artist trading coin. Okay, so that's a tip. So if you're going to heat emboss, I recommend that you make sure that it's dry. Maybe use your heat tool to dry it off. Okay, so I've got some of my ones already done. Okay, here's the other two that I also did. Okay, now you see they're really shiny, and the reason that they're shiny is because I put some Versamark and some embossing powder over the top of them and heat emboss them. So the reason I did that is because they're going overseas and I want them to be a bit protected, so I don't want them to run, because I'm not sure how the watercolour ink would, or the classic ink mixed with the glycerin would go if it is wet. So I'm just inking them up. Got Versamark all over the top of them. Be really generous. Okay. Here's the last one. Now, I've got a little container that's got all my clear embossing powder in, and need to open another bottle, but this will be fine enough for this project. Don't want too much, you just want enough to cover your trading coin. Okay, we'll put the lid back on the Versamark. Now you know when you have Versamark you need to store it upside down, because so that the ink doesn't go to the bottom of the ink pad. You want it to stay near the surface. Now I'm just bringing in my board so I don't wreck our dining table. Artist trading coins. So we're doing 6 in a set. Okay. Right, so the last thing you need to do is you've got your little artist trading coin information, and we're just going to use the multi-purpose glue and glue that onto the back. Now some people use a laminator and they laminate their trading coins, but I think that we don't need to. What the laminating does is actually makes them a bit firmer, but the embossing powder heated also makes it a bit firmer as well. So, okay. Now you may wish to have your information on the back done in a smaller circle, and that's quite okay. So I'll finish all of those off camera. I just wanted to show you the other ones that I did while I was making these. And these are all done with the Daisy Lane and Delightful Daisy stamp set. And so we added a bit of punching on these, and I sort of have a bit of a sequence of how the colouring went. Okay, and that's, how about we move them over a little bit so you can see them better. So again, like the Follow Your Art stamp, they were all done with Memento ink or with the Versamark and the new shimmery black embossing powder. So that's what the big daisies are all done with. Yeah, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you would like to purchase any of the products that are featured in the video, I'll have all the links down to below to my online store. Also, if you want regular Tuesday tips and techniques, don't forget to sign up for the Creative Eclectic newsletter. And until now, happy creating. Now, I promised you that I would show you what my craft table looks like during this video. So I'll just give you a quick look. So we're actually at the dining room table. So I've got my little stand, whoop, we've got lights, whoop. So yes, it's a bit of a mess, and yeah, it's pretty tricky to work in these conditions. So let's see, you've got everything underway all at once. Right, so that's my craft space. Okay, until next time, happy creating.